the gears are back turning, characters are returning to the series, and things are underway. We got some pretty nice progress for the flow of the story right now, as well as the name of the big guy that went and attacked the Diamond Kingdom, on top of expanding the level of threat that the Spade Kingdom presents. So let's get into the chapter itself. Asta took out the guy who was in control of that Spade Kingdom, like big walking mech thing. I actually like that once we get into the first page of the chapter, you see the aftermath and just like that big cleaved area of the top of the structure of just where Asta used, black divider and just absolutely just sliced the thing right down the side, just diagonal big cut. But here comes Noelle, and she's upset that Asta left without her. I mean, again, we know how she is. We know how she would react to something like this. She wanted to be there for Asta and, provide aid as well as, save these people. But she comes in with Mimosa and Finral, and they're coming into as much as they can to help. I mean, Noelle and Finral, I mean, they got uses here. I mean, obviously, Finral is going to be able to help get people back to wherever they were. With his, I imagine, upgraded spatial magic to an even higher degree. And Mimosa, who can heal them. And with that, we actually get a nice little thought bubble where Noelle says that she wanted to go with Asta. She wanted to be there for him. And also just see that big Chad thugness that he's capable of now. And with Finral, who was, always talking about he wanted to brush aside that longing every time he ever meets a girl, that Brock from Pokemon, that Sanji from One Piece attitude. He's got to get past it because he's got a girl that he wants, and he wants to keep that faithful feel to him. So we're going to be getting this nice change of pace on his character, that every time some cute girl shows up to go flirt and compliment, and then that pull away, knowing that he can't continue this. He's got somebody he's got to stay towards. And then I like how Asta noticed it and was just like, you've gotten so much stronger within this half year, seeing him resist his his want to hit on these girls. And just Finral not only taking that, but Noelle just like, he didn't do anything. He just stood there. He didn't provide anything to this whole scenario. But then we got to see upgraded Mimosa, which was really nice. She upgraded to her princess healing dress, and she's got like a little AoE to it, and it seems just she just puts a little zone down and she's able to heal people within said area, which is nice. I really actually like that panel. I considered using that one for the chapter just because it's just such a delightful panel to look at. She looks so happy healing all those people, and you get to see that nice little progress of her character and her capabilities. But all the characters are now, they seem pretty happy with the the aid of the heart and the Clover Kingdom. Spade has been put obviously in very unfortunate straits, but at this point now the whole front that they're going in is not just, oh yeah, we're coming in to save this little group of people that were on this little walking structure mech thing. They're going to do, what I talked a little about and theorized about in a previous video, is that they're gonna start seizing positions. They're gonna start retaking land. They have to push the level of influence that they have, and just slowly move that layer until they can hopefully take hold of the Spade Kingdom, take out their leader, because really it's not the same as like the fight with the elves or like the Witch's Force, any of the older arcs, because this is a straight warfare of kingdoms, and they're going to need to gain ground in order to continue progress of moving in towards their centerpiece, wherever their leaders are, and we actually see them within this. And on top of that, we got to see, a little poke at some of the characters that we knew were getting boosted up for sure after this time skip. We got to see Luck. We know Luck is he's a favorite character amongst the fans. He's always been in the top 10 for character polls. He's actually got the runic enhancements now, which is really neat. He's just gotten that buff to his own abilities, and he and Leopold are saying like, the strongest guys that they heard were at this little base are like tier 2 at most. So they obviously have all like gotten way up in strength. They, they've moved up their ladder, and they are now going to, they're going to do the best they can. And even Leopold has gotten like the runic enhancement and has upped his character. He's got a little bit of an increased design. He looks like he's gotten taller, a bit more bulky, and just, in all ways progressed. He's gotten older, and he's gotten more capable, which I really like. Out of all the characters that, like, again, were coming out of this time skip and, this big training progression piece, the ones that I really looked forward to, you got the obvious ones. You got Osty's the main character, and Noelle, but also Zora, because Zora's my favorite character in the series. But, putting those aside, putting, like, the obvious ones and favorite, the ones just out of pure, I want to see where this character goes purely for what the plan was Leopold. Because Leopold was, established very early in the series that he was going to have some relevancy. Like, he decided that he was going to be Asta's, like, offset rival, like, way back in the whole invasion arc when the Eye of the Midnight Sun attacked. Like 20 chapter, it was somewhere in the 20s that Leopold made this declaration. And yeah, he hadn't really done anything since then. And once we led up to the time skip, and it was showing just, a bunch of characters that were obviously going to have a role within this arc, Leopold being on there was just such a nice feeling, knowing that his character was going to actually get some attention from Tabata and be able to play a point in this story. Because I still think that Fuego Leon is going to be the next Magic Emperor, and Mare Leona, I don't expect to see her for a while. My guess is during that time, and probably for a bit further time, she's off like hell training, just trying to like power boost herself to a much further extent. After something like the whole battle against Raya and the other elves, and she was just utterly defeated. I completely just see the idea of her wanting to, to make up for that, cover up that weakness, and just push herself far more than she was at the time. So we probably won't see for a bit. And if my theories of Fuego Leon being the Magic Emperor are in fact correct, then he's not going to be that mobile out in this arc. He's going to be out doing, protecting kind of thing. He's going to be doing the big shot leader role. He's not going to be out just, oh yeah, let me get on the front lines and go do stuff. He's got much larger scale at home defense and, care aspects. Because really when you send out like captains or even some of these, younger guys, there's always a risk that something could happen to them. And we already know that the Magic Emperor is their biggest piece and their last resort of really needing to get in these big scenarios. So it would have to be at a point where there's no other way that they can get past something other than send the Magic Emperor. So that's why I think it's going to be really cool to see Leopold really in things, get a cool fire guy. I'm wondering still what his whole niche in his magic is going to be, because when you like look at him, Fuego Leon is just overwhelming firepower. He's just all around like big energy dumped into one area. Mare Leona is extremely mobile. Has the trait to her magic of being able to burn other magic. And she's a close quarters combat mage, which there's not a lot of straight combat mages within Black Clover. Most of the characters are more caster. When you look at something like Black Clover versus like a lot of other series, and you look at something like it's just some other big magic kind of like setup battle weekly shows. You got something like Fairy Tail and Seven Deadly Sins. Seven Deadly Sins, most of the characters are fighters that have magic. They're more of melee people that have something magical to kind of enhance that, where it's completely different from something like Black Clover. And then you have something like Fairy Tail, where a majority of the the wizards you meet in there they're more casters. I just not off the top of my head, it's probably like 1 out of 5 of them is a combat mage. But with Black Clover, it's more of like 1 out of 10, maybe more, or I guess it'd be maybe even less than 1 out of 10. You don't get a lot of just straight melee people like that, a lot of battle mages as they were. So it's like, what is Fuego Leon's thing going to be? I'm wondering maybe like widespread destruction, like straight heat. Maybe his is going to be like control. We'll see. Obviously, if he's going to be more in the fray of things, he's going to be actually taking part in a lot of what's going on. It's going to be seen soon. We just got to be patient. It was cool seeing the big 3 spiral flaming like attacks from him with the the runic lettering around it, increasing it. I'm guessing really because like that's like his go-to spell. You know, it's this big flame cylinder. So I mean, you know, if you got a move like that that's continuously being used, I imagine it's going to play into it. I'm guessing something just like big AoE. I think big AoE should, you know, could easily be his thing, because we don't have much in Black Clover for like just large scale AoE characters. I mean, really outside of like, you know, Patri's big light swords of judgment or I always get that mixed up because it's light swords and light arrows, they really look the same, but it's just like one is a much larger array. And then like when Julius was using Anastasis. But yeah, it would be cool. I'd be really happy with it. It would really fit well and give an extra thing for the characters if they had something that's like, well, we got a ton of, there's a large set of like weak opponents, but there's a ton of them. Put Fuego or put Leopold in. You know, he's got large scale AoE, then he's gonna be run through. But other than that, you have the characters all talking, and they're happy that they're getting saved, and they're saying like, we're gonna help try and defeat the Spade Kingdom and defeat the demon that runs it. And one of the people captured in that whole like caravan that Asta went and saved explains to them that the people ruling the Spade Kingdom are called the Dark Triad. They're 3 people that are as powerful as a demon. They're of devil category by themselves. And those individuals, we see one of them being the guy that attacked the Diamond Kingdom. His name is Zenon. I don't know how to pronounce. I think it's Zenon. When I look at him, to be perfectly honest, like I see like Dark Julius, just that appearance, that look of just utter, his negative version. I think it's just kind of like the way that his face is drawn a little bit, or it's actually, I think it's just the way the shape of his chin and his hair. He's got a completely different like set to his eyes, and then they have these like dark marks over them. He seems, he's been really just kind of like waiting around for this last half year, and one of the members of their team, her name's Vanica. Again, not a surprise that whenever you have one of these groups, there's always at least one chick, there's always one token girl, unless it's like an all-female like themed one, then there's one token dude. Well, I guess it can't all female, primarily female one, then there's just one token dude. But in this case, you have the 3 of them, Dante as seemingly in the center. I imagine he's the leader. He's got the biggest crown, but they're discussing that now they're ready to do things. They're ready to kind of like set out and make their move. They want to find out where to attack next. I'm guessing they're going to start either collapsing in on the Diamond Kingdom, where we're going to see like the remnants of them, maybe like Mars, and maybe we'll see dwarves finally, question mark. But, someone like Mars in the fray, and then we'll be able to get him tied into the story and joining up, or pushing into the Clover Kingdom. And I mean, really, if they push into the Clover Kingdom, the most obvious place I think they'd go, just because it's not only geographically like a logical choice, but story-wise, it'd be a logical choice. But I like the idea, but I think I'd rather go with the Diamond Kingdom one first, just because it would be too quick to move in where I'm thinking in, Hage Village. Obviously, Austin, going to take a lot of personal take into that, but, that's where it's set. I mean, it's right next to the big demon skull at the border of the Clover Kingdom. So it's easily somewhere that could get targeted first. Again, I'd like the idea more of the Diamond Kingdom, because we already have members of the Heart Kingdom in. We've only seen Gaja. We haven't gotten to the other Spirit Guardians, but getting some characters like like Mars would be really useful in addition, because Mars is very underrated. I mean, obviously Mars, we haven't seen Mars in over 100 chapters, like way back at the Witch's Forest arc. But assuming he got a lot stronger since then, or he could get stronger still, he has one of the best magic combos in the series. Just not on like, oh, it's a super OP magic, but just what it said is he's got diamond magic for its defense and offensive capabilities. And then it's like, well, he's also got healing from the half of his grimoire that was from Fauna. So, you know, super plus on him. He'd make a really good asset of just being able to, like, you know, again, even if he doesn't go on the offense, just being able to, like, make big diamond ramparts and then heal himself and other people around him, just to add aid. You know, it would really just give him a huge beneficial, like, role within the layout of what's going on. Because now they got, like, you know, we haven't got to see buff Finral, but just, like, looking at, for instance, buffed Mimosa, like an AoE heal is really nice, because, you know, that'd be, you know, a mass medic for, you know, Warzone. But anyway, comment below, tell me your thoughts are about the chapter and what you think is coming next within the you know, within the arc. I would like to imagine, again, before we get into, like, the big actions of Zen and Dante and Vanica, because these are the big deals of the Diamond King, or not Diamond King, of the Spade Kingdom. I'd imagine Megicula is the only person above them. And, you know, I mean, they're ruling, they have straight, like, said, like, oh, part of the demon's powered, so theirs is probably much more in. They've got these cool marks. It actually reminds me of, some of the ones in Hungry Joker, because that's what, I mean, I'm just looking it up real quick for what, like, Haja had, because I know Haja, when he, like, progressed his powers, because the one that's on, the one that is straight on Dante's head is very similar to the one that was on the apple that was, you know, used by the main character of Hungry Joker. So that would be, you know, a really nice, like, thing to kind of look at and kind of get, like, a nice callback. And it makes you wonder which of them might have that gravity power, because the main character of the series of Hungry Joker's power was gravity, and we haven't seen it pulled over into the main series. I mean, there's still stuff that follows over from Hungry Joker to Black Clover, you know, to Body taking stuff that he had planned and wanted to use and put in the, you know, the series that was successful versus the one that unfortunately was not. I'm just looking at, like, you know, what's her name? I can't remember the character from Hungry Joker, but I know, for instance, you know, the helmet that was on, that, you know, Charlotte wears is like a reference to one of the characters from Hungry Joker. But we'll see. I like the cool big marks, and it's going to be nice to see, you know, where that whole tie-in kind of comes together and what Tabata ends up using these characters for. I would like to believe that one of them is going to be gravity based. Maybe Zenon, he has, like, this weird kind of, like, presence of the group that we already can kind of, like, feel that maybe he's gonna be their real primary ringer, you know, their kind of, like, face one out of the big shots of the Spade Kingdom. And again, we'll have to wait a little bit to find out, but that's kind of like where I'm leaning on that he's gonna be the primary, like, big one. Even though Dante seems to be the leader, I'm guessing that he's not going to be the one that we kind of get showcased most, though Megicula should be the logical, stronger one out of, you know, the whole kingdom. But anyway, comment below, tell me your thoughts are about the chapter, thumbs up the video for the like button, and subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But that, I appreciate everybody's already subscribed, and I thank y'all for listening. Bye.